Imagine standing at the base of Mount Fuji, a perfect blue sky above. Tourists are laughing, snapping photos of the volcano's white crown. Then you see it. A sea of trees, dense, twisted, silent, stretching for miles. That's Aokigahara Forest. Locals call it Jukai, the Sea of Trees. But around the world, it's known by another name, the Suicide Forest. And once you know what's happened here, you'll understand why few dare to walk too far in. Because here's the thing. In Aokigahara, people don't just get lost. Sometimes it feels like the forest wants them to. Let's go back. Aokigahara sits on ancient lava, the result of Mount Fuji's last major eruption more than 1,000 years ago. The ground is uneven, jagged, and full of cracks that swallow sound. Birdsong? Gone. Wind? Barely a whisper. Your heartbeat becomes loud. Step into the forest, and within minutes, it feels like the world outside doesn't exist. No roads, no signal. Just trees, endless trees. That's where it begins. For centuries, Aokigahara carried an unsettling reputation. Back in Japan's feudal era, it was rumored that starving villagers unable to feed their families would bring the old or sick here, leaving them behind to die. Ubasud, they called it, abandoning the old. And many believed the spirits of those left to perish never left. They say if you wander too deep, those spirits follow you. At first, you might hear footsteps behind you, then soft voices, then your own name. By the 1900s, the stories had changed, but the fear hadn't. After a famous novel romanticized the idea of dying peacefully in Aokigahara, the forest began attracting more people, lonely souls, broken hearts. Every year, authorities find remains scattered among the moss and lava. Some go to end their own pain, others go searching and never come out. Because once you're inside, Aokigahara doesn't like letting you go. Rescue volunteers return every season, and they all tell the same story. When you walk under that canopy, sunlight disappears. It's like stepping into another dimension, damp, quiet, eerily still. The moss glows an unnatural green. Ropes dangle from branches where people once tried to mark their path. Or something darker. But half the time, it just stops suddenly, like the person who placed it vanished mid-step. One volunteer, a man named Hiroshi, told what happened to him in 2003. He'd been leading a search party for a missing hiker, following a thin blue ribbon that wound deeper and deeper into the woods. Hours in, they still hadn't found anyone. Then they reached a small clearing. The tape ended there, and hanging from a branch was a backpack. Inside was a camera, film still intact. They developed the photos later, frame after frame, of dense trees, all identical. Except the last picture. It showed a blurry silhouette, something pale between two trunks. Too tall to be human, too still. No one ever found the hiker. Just that ribbon. And the silence. Some argue all this is superstition. That people get disoriented, panic, and wander until exhaustion takes over. And yet, every year, the same reports surface. Compasses spinning wildly. Electronics dying, people hearing things that shouldn't be there. Even GPS units glitch among the magnetic rocks. That means when you step off the trail, you might walk in a circle forever without knowing. Many who've made it out say they began hearing voices. Sometimes loved ones calling. Other times strangers whispering directions. A few followed those voices. They never came back. In 2011, a young hiker named Ray posted a blog saying she wanted to camp in Aokigahara overnight to see if the legends were true. She brought a tent, food, and spare batteries. Her final blog entry was short, just a single line. "It's so quiet here, I can hear my thoughts echo." She was never found. Only her tent, unzipped, empty. Searchers said there were footprints around it, hers, and two others, different sizes, moving in circles. To preserve the forest's dignity, Japanese authorities stopped publicly reporting the number of deaths there years ago. They said it encouraged copycats. But locals still whisper that on foggy mornings you can see shapes hanging from distant trees, swaying with no wind. When you blink, they're gone. Fishermen who live near the forest say every now and then they hear laughter carried down from the slopes late at night. Childlike, happy. But no children live anywhere near that part of the mountain. Those who've entered Aokigahara during rescue season tell another chilling truth. The forest feels aware. Not haunted aware. They describe moments when the air thickens, the way static feels before lightning. Moments when you know something's behind you. But you can't turn around. One officer said the forest tests you. He'd found a note once, pinned to a tree, written in neat handwriting. Please stop me before I change my mind. Below it was a rope, still warm to the touch. And yet, despite all the warnings, people still go. Tourists hiking for the thrill. Ghost hunters filming for clicks. Pilgrims searching for peace. Many come out shaken, swearing they heard gentle breathing near their ears. Saw figures standing just beyond their flashlights, too still to be alive, too distinct to be imagination. One documentary crew famously caught something on audio soft sobbing that seemed to come from underground. They dug where it was loudest. Nothing beneath, just black volcanic stone. It makes you wonder. If 1,000 years of grief can soak into a place, does the ground remember? Maybe Aokigahara is more than a forest. Maybe it's a memory, one that doesn't fade. And if that's true, then maybe, just maybe, when you enter it, you become part of that memory too. Locals say that before you take your first step into the forest, you should bow and ask permission. Not out of superstition, out of respect. Because once you cross that tree line, Aokigahara decides what happens next. And if the forest whispers your name, if you or anyone you know is going through a difficult time, please remember that help is available. There are resources like the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline and other international crisis centers you can call. You are not alone, and there is always hope. Thanks for watching.